Hello dear students, welcome to today's fluid mechanics class. Reciprocating pump we have completed in our last class. In today's class I am going to start another types of pump, that is centrifugal pump. Let us first see the definition of centrifugal pump. What is the meaning of centrifugal pump? As we know that basically for all pump we can say the same definition, that is pump is a hydraulic machine which converts the mechanical energy into the pressure energy. But in centrifugal pump there will be some additional points to add. Centrifugal pump is a special type of pump where the mechanical energy is converted into pressure energy. That's okay. By means of centrifugal force acting on the fluid. Means on the fluid, the centrifugal force act. By the action of that force, the pressure energy is created in the fluid. That's why this pump is called as centrifugal pump. The work is same, mechanical energy into converted into pressure energy, but by means of centrifugal force acting on the fluid. The centrifugal pump, now there are some important points where we can compare to centrifugal pump. Centrifugal pump acts as the reverse of the inward flow radial turbine. Turbine yet we have not studied, but you keep in your mind that it is the reverse of the inward flow radial turbine. Means it is outward flow. It is radially flow outward. Here the fluid flow radially outward, but in the inward flow radial turbine, fluid flow inward. In turbine, fluid acts on the turbine vents, but in pump, vents act on the water, or say you can say fluid. The other thing to note that the centrifugal pump works on the principle of forced vortex flow. Forced vortex flow. Vortex flow means when some torque is applied on a fluid, the fluid gets velocity, and the pressure at that point, directly proportional to the velocity. We can say vortex flow, we can say that when in a bucket, when we rotate the fluid by hand, we see that the water from near the wall of the bucket rise up from the normal level of the fluid that we would have played during the bathing or during the childhood, that in bucket we rotates the water by hand, stirring by hand, and what we would have observed that the water near the wall of the bucket gets maximum height due to rotation, because that pressure at that point will be directly proportional to, you can say, equal to V square by 2G. So how much the omega will be more, because R is fixed, how much the omega will be more, that the pressure will be directly proportional to square of the omega. So this 2 points is important to note here, that where we can say that on which principle centrifugal pump act, and other thing we can compare the centrifugal pump with the turbine. So let us see now about the pump. Figure shows the line diagram of the centrifugal pump, and this is the volute type of casing, and first we see what is the main parts of the centrifugal pump. Impeller, casing, suction pipe with footwall and strainer, and delivery pipe. This is the suction pipe, which is the one end is in the sump and other end of the suction pipe is connected at the inlet of the centrifugal pump. Just at the center, the behind side of this view, this suction pipe is connected. That is called pump pipe. And at the sump end of the suction pipe, a footwall is there. One way valve here is connected, and one strainer is connected. Strainer for filtering the water. The mud will not enter in the water in suction pipe. And this is the casing. This is the volute casing. The area of the casing is slowly increasing, and at the delivery end the area is maximum. And we can see that this is not, the impeller is not concentric with the casing. And this is the delivery pipe, and the delivery pipe is reached at the point of delivery where we have to deliver the water in tank or anywhere else. And this is the casing. So first we see that what is the impeller. Impeller is the rotating part of the pump. It is a rotating part of the centrifugal pump. It consists of a series of backward vanes. This is the backward vanes which apply force on the water. Apply centrifugal, which apply force on the water, rotates the water. Water gets centrifugal force. It is backward vanes. And this is the shaft of the pump, and this is the impeller. Impeller consists of backward vanes, series of backward vanes. Number of backward vanes are there on the impeller. And second is casing. Casing is airtight. This impeller is the central part of the pump, and the casing cover this impeller, and it is airtight. Even air cannot enter in this casing. Just apart from the water entering from this inlet, nothing, there is no any way to enter air inside this pump. So there are three types of casing. First, I want to make you introduce that. What is the type? This is what we are seeing in the line diagram of this pump. This is the volute type casing. Volute type casing means here the area, you can see that the area of flow is increasing slowly. So this casing is called volute type casing. Because of this area, increasing this area, the velocity of water, this is water is coming from the center of here from suction, water is entering in the center of pipe, center of casing, and from center of casing, and this impeller throw the water outside in the casing. So here in the casing, water slowly this area is increasing. Water rotating here and the area is increasing. Due to increase in area, the pressure of water is increasing, and here the velocity is minimum and pressure is maximum. Velocity is also needed because we have to lift the water, and pressure is also important. Or due to high pressure, the water, this valve is open and the water enter into delivery pipe and sent into the desired location. So as I have told that there are three types of casing. One is called volute casing, which I have shown in the line diagram of the pump, and the other is vortex casing, and third one is a casing with guide blade. And this is the vortex casing. Vortex casing. About the volute casing I have already explained. In vortex casing, there are little bit modification in the volute casing. It is volute casing, but there are little bit modification. Here one vortex chamber is introduced. This is the impeller, and after impeller in one circular chamber is introduced, because as water come out from the impeller, the water gets rotate about its axis, and due to it is called eddy current. When water comes out from impeller outlet, the water particles rotates about its axis, and due to rotation of water about its axis, the energy of the water gets lost, because that energy will be convert into the velocity of flow, but due to eddy formation, due to rotation of the water particle about its axis, that energy lost. So ultimately the pressure will reduce and the efficiency of the pump will reduce. But in volute casing, if we introduce a vortex chamber, then this casing is called as vortex casing. Due to this chamber, this is simply a ring, uh, between the ring, the water will come out from the impeller, and due to this ring, the rotation of the particle coming out from this impeller outlet will not take place. So that energy of rotation will convert into velocity of flow, means it will be addition in the velocity of flow. So we will get more pressure at the outlet, and pressure will be more, means the water power will be more, and the water power will be more, means efficiency will be more. So this is a vortex casing which increase the efficiency of the pump by reducing the eddy formation in the volute casing. So let us see the third type of casing. And third type of casing is the casing with guide blades. This casing is concentric with the impeller. Other two types of casing are not concentric with the impeller, but this casing is concentric with the impeller. Here some additional arrangement is there for increasing efficiency and all these things. Here after the impeller, one guide blades are introduced, and this guide vanes are called diffuser. It's called diffuser. It's give the shock free outcoming of the liquid from the impeller. From the impeller, water enters in this guide blades, this diffuser. You can say this is a separate part. Here I have shown this gap. Means this is the impeller, shaft is mounted on the impeller, and this is the separate part which is mounted on the casing, and this is called as diffuser. Water coming from the impeller and water guided through this vanes. This is guide vanes, and from this guide vanes, very smoothly the guide vanes angle are setting in such a way that water will come out very smoothly from the guide blades and enter in the casing, so that minimum energy will be lost, and we can give the such a direction to the flow that there will be minimum loss of energy in friction or in eddy. So after coming out from this guide vanes, water come here, and at this point, due to pressure, water come out from this casing. So this is called diffuser. So I have written figure 3 shows such casing. In this casing, impeller is surrounded by a series of guide blades mounted on a ring called diffuser. This is a ring. In the ring, but in the vortex casing, ring is simple ring, not guide vanes are there. The guide vanes are designed in such a way that the water from the impeller enter in the guide vanes without any shock. This reduces the losses of the energy of water. Also, the area of guide vents increases, thus reducing the flow velocity through the guide vents. So, as the water will come out from here, the area of flow will increase coming out from this diffuser, and area of area of flow of water will increase. So the pressure of water will increase, because the area will increase, velocity will reduce, and as a consequence the pressure will increase, and due to water coming from this diffuser will have high pressure. So water with high pressure will lift from this outlet in the delivery pipe by pushing the delivery valve. So this is all about this casing, and due to decrease in velocity through the guide vents, all I have explained this. So now we will try to, the delivery pipe I have explained already. Now we will try to understand the working of the centrifugal pump. To understand the working of the centrifugal pump, again we will have to visit the initial page where I had shown the line diagram of the pump. Let us visit on the page where I have shown the line diagram of the pump. So before starting the centrifugal pump, we will open this delivery valve and we will enter the water here, and water will, when we put the water external, taking from external some source, and we will fill the water will first fill here, and water will come in this, because this is closed, valve is closed, foot valve is closed, so water will start fill this first suction pipe, and after filling up the suction pipe, water will enter in this casing. This casing will fill up, and slowly as we enter more the water from delivery valve by opening a delivery valve, water will fill from the suction, fill in the suction pipe and then casing, and up to delivery valve water will fill up. This is the first step before we start the centrifugal pump. Otherwise until we will not fill the water up to this delivery valve in the suction pipe, from the centrifugal pump will not work. This process of filling up water from in the delivery pipe and this in casing and then up to this delivery valve is called priming. This process is called priming. Keep remember, this term is given in your syllabus, that what is the priming. So this is the priming. When we fill the water from this suction pipe and this casing, and full up this casing and fill up water up to this delivery valve, this process is called priming. After priming, we start the external source of motor, and that motor shaft is coupled with this shaft of impeller, and this impeller is connected, this impeller is mounted on this shaft, and as the motor rotates, this impeller starts rotating, and as the impeller starts rotating, that the back side of this impeller where the suction pipe is connected, that is the inlet of the pump, a negative pressure is created. The design of impeller is such that when impeller will start rotating, a negative pressure will create at the inlet end of the pump where this is connected. The other end of suction pipe is connected, and this is called pump pipe. As a negative pressure will create near the inlet of the pump, and the water in the sump is at atmospheric pressure. So due to high pressure, this water will press this valve. Water will pressurize this valve, because here in the suction side pressure is reduced due to this rotation of impeller, and the water will, here the water is at atmospheric pressure, and water will pressurize this inlet valve, foot valve, and this valve will open, water will enter in this suction pipe. Through the suction pipe, water will enter in the pump, and as the water will enter in the pump, and that water will pass through this impeller, and impeller will apply high force and impart high energy to water, and after taking the kinetic energy from this impeller, water will come out and enter in the casing, and in the casing there is a large area, so that high kinetic energy of the water convert into pressure. You can see that here the area is after coming out from this, the area of water is increased, and due to high velocity and reduction of area, the pressure of water will increase. Again, when water will rotate in this casing, the area of flow is also again increasing, and here is a maximum area. So all the maximum part of the kinetic energy convert into pressure, and due to high pressure, this valve will get open, delivery valve, and water will enter in the delivery pipe and throw or reached at the desired location, desired tank, or wherever we want to carry this water. So this is the overall working of this centrifugal pump. So you can read the write-up I have given in that page, so by referring this figure. So after in next class we will study about the other points related with the centrifugal pump, efficiency of the centrifugal pump, and what are the different heads of the centrifugal pump, and what is the types of centrifugal pump. That all things we will see in the next class. So let us stop here. Thank you.